Who do you want, Stevie, as the next coach?
I absolutely don't know. Listen, it would be such a gamble. You know, that list that you put up, there's none of us can say there's a bad coach on it. Let's be honest. They're all good coaches. But to follow on from a guy like Klopp and to take a job the size of Liverpool, you need to be more than just a good coach. And Xavi Alonso, in his football experience as a coach and manager, I'm not so sure he's got that to fall back on. You know, he's never faced any adversity. Everything's been smooth. You know, you look at Klopp. For all the success he had at Dortmund, he had some bad times. You know, losing cup finals is hard, and then you go through a period where you actually nearly get relegated. I mean, these are all things that at the time you wish didn't happen, but it's part of your makeup. It's part of your psyche, and then when these things are thrown at you, all of a sudden you've got somewhere to go to deal with it. Xavi Alonso has none of that. So it would be a huge gamble for such a young coach to be thrust into the Liverpool job. Number one, just the fact that it's the Liverpool job, but number two, having to follow Jurgen Klopp. So right now, I really don't know. They're all good coaches, but do they have the character and do they have that little X factor that the great managers have in order to take over and be a success at Liverpool? I really don't know right now.
You might be looking a bit dour, isn't he?
Who?
Stevie.
Well, why?
Not exactly like the party at Disney.
You think Disney's changing that? I think you could be looking at somebody.
Is it
somebody
poison chalice, whoever takes it?
No. I think you could be looking at somebody like. I know he might not be everybody's favourite, but Nagelsmann, right? You're looking at somebody who has been through that adversity that Stevie's talked about. Did a really good job. I mean, a very young manager as he was when he started and still is. What he did at Hoffenheim, then what he did at RB Leipzig.
Yeah, but since then he's rubbish at Bayern.
Hold on. Has Tuchel been brilliant at Bayern? No, he hasn't.
No.
So Nagelsmann will say, I went into Bayern, they didn't give me time, and he found that adversity because he got the sack. Now he's managing Germany for the time being. He's getting that experience.
And it's a disaster so far.
Well, listen, he's not a magician, is he? He's not. This German team's been on a downward spiral for a long, long time. All I'm saying is he's got something. And he's been through the ringer of going smaller clubs up to the big club in Bayern Munich. It is as big, if not bigger than Liverpool. And he'll say he was not given time, right? But he has the energy and he has more experience, certainly, than Xabi Alonso, to potentially have his hat in the ring and be in those lists to be talked about. I mean, I think there is still a good manager in there. Whether he's the genius that some people tend to think he is, I think that remains to be seen. But his argument will be, if you had let things be at Bayern Munich, things would have been fine. But they made a different decision. So I definitely think he is going to be in the reckoning.
But the problem is as well, isn't it? They're going to say, oi, we've given you the German job. We're hosting the Euros. We want you to be 100% focused on that, not dithering around saying who you want at Liverpool next season if he gets the job there.
Well, I'll go. Do you think Xabi Alonso, who we've just Archie Rintot has interviewed today, given all that spiel about he's only thinking about the next game, they're all thinking about this. They're all thinking a step ahead. And yeah, he wants to listen. If he wins the league with Leverkusen, what an achievement that would be. Because he was thinking about the Real Madrid job before Ancelotti signed a new 2-year deal. He's looking at this going, well, I've really enjoyed my time there as a player. There's a reporter. I'm doing really well at the moment. I'm the front. Of course they're thinking about it, and so is Julian Nagelsmann.
But there's that pressure now.
Yeah.
You're not playing the same way as Jurgen Klopp did. You're not giving us the same energy. This team is not the team that we want to see.
Yeah, coming in for a manager who's had the successes that Jurgen Klopp has is always going to be a difficult task, trying to fill those shoes. You may want to play a different style. You may ask different things of different players. So there's a lot to consider. And while I think Javi Alonso, because of his playing career with Liverpool, and he comes in with a longer honeymoon period than anybody else, it doesn't at all guarantee any kind of success. But he's quite clearly one of the young and upcoming managers of world football, and I think will be sought after very soon. So if you're Liverpool and you have this availability right now, you understand why Javi Alonso ticks so many of those boxes. At the same time, of the list, and with De Zerbi coming in at second, I think that's a very good fit, especially when you consider Brighton's playing style and who Liverpool have shown themselves to be. In terms of playing style, that also is a really good fit. For me, I probably put Nagelsmann as third in that list. There's some very good coaches on there, but a really big job that I'm not sure who or how you handle that kind of pressure.
Well, let's get a gauge off the man himself.
Which one?
Stevie, if I said to you Nagelsmann, what would be your reaction?
It won't be positive. He's not in the mood.
I don't disagree with what you said. You know, in terms of the experience and going through the ringer and not given a chance, absolutely. You know, the one thing I like about the De Zerbi one would be that you're getting a manager who's going to come in and play not the same, but a very, very, very similar type of football, which means that the move from Klopp to another manager, I think, would be a lot easier for the players. You know, depending on what kind of coach you bring in, you might knock them back a bit and have a completely different way of playing. I mean, you think of somebody like Trent Alexander-Arnold, a different manager who plays a completely different game. You know, how does that work? I don't disagree with Nagelsmann. In terms of the way De Zerbi plays the game, I would be ixy-pixy on the two of them. But I wouldn't have a problem with Nagelsmann, quite honestly.
What about Zidane, Frank?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it because for only one reason. I think there is the Euro this next summer. I don't know if Deschamps is going to carry on after that, and there is a possibility for Zizou to get that position, and I think he's not going to miss it, and he doesn't want to jeopardize anything, so I don't think he's going to go for it, waiting for the result of the national team, and not maybe hoping for something bad happening to the national team, but just hoping that maybe Deschamps doesn't want to carry on and get the job. So I don't believe that he's getting any option on the Liverpool job.
If you're in that Liverpool dressing room, who would you want, Frank?
I really think that Xabi Alonso will be a fantastic option, especially if he wins the Bundesliga with Leverkusen. He's going to come. He knows the club. He knows how it works. The way he plays the football is going to suit. I think he's going to keep on doing what Klopp is doing. He's very clever about that, and I see him as the best option. De Zerbi is a second position for me, but really Xabi Alonso seems to be somebody very smart, like Klopp is, knows how to keep on building what Klopp has made for the past almost 9 years. So he will be my favorite. And as a player, I would be in the dressing room and say, well, I would love to have that guy because he seems to be the copy of Klopp.
What about Tuchel? What about him trying to manoeuvre a scenario out of Bayern Munich? Because there's been, they're in a title race. They're not favourites at the moment. He might think, and we know he's been displeased with some aspects of the recruitment, not at all, because he got Harry Kane and one or two others. But everything to me just doesn't seem a bed of roses there with him.
Right. And
I don't know if there's any behind the scenes. He certainly has the experience. There is no, you couldn't.
But is this style of football what Liverpool want?
I can't answer that question. I'm just throwing it out there that it doesn't seem to me that it's a bed of roses between him and the hierarchy at Bayern Munich. He's a very experienced coach. I would not 100% rule out something like that happening.
Stevie, I know we've got to let you go for the fireworks at some stage, so you're not on extra time. A lot of people have asked whether or not you'd be interested in the job.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I think that'd be very good.
I've got loads of experience of bombing, so that'll come in handy.
Well, at least you could give the Liverpool Echo some first-hand headlines.
Oh yeah, imagine it.
There you go. Yeah,
imagine Stevie on the touchline. Stevie, were you flying at the time that all this happened?
I was, yeah, and there was no internet or anything. And I somehow got a little message from Pete, the director, saying, "Can you come on?" I'm like, "Is he serious?" But of course, I had no idea that Klopp had announced he was leaving.
I thought he was going to say, get a message from the pilot. This is your captain speaking.
Wait, no,
There are Mr. Stevie for Mr. Nicol on board.
There is a Mr. Nicol on board. And who's been grumpier, you or your son, who of course is a massive Liverpool fan as well, Stevie?
Do you know what? We really haven't said much about it. We just kind of looked at each other and kind of, as I said, we were like, what are we going to do now? I mean, that's as far as we've got. We were too busy jumping on and off rides and walking. I've done 3 miles this afternoon already.
Oh my goodness!
Thought your cheeks looked a bit red.
Yeah, and why's your top button done up
And I was
like
on
that?
a
What are you
roller coaster.
hiding?
Hey, they duped me into getting on a roller coaster. I never saw a thing. I had my eyes shut and I was holding on for dear life.
Which one did you go on?
The Galaxy thingies of the
Guardians
Galaxy.
of the Galaxy.
Hey,
That's quite
hey,
fast,
yeah.
Stevie. That's a big boy one.
I'd like to have seen a GoPro in
never
his head.
told me.
I know, look at that. What a lovely day you had.